Cell transport. In this video we are going to look at Introduction to cell transport. Different types of cell transport. Cell transport is the process by which substances move in and out of cells. It is the movement of molecules, ions and other substances across the cell membrane, which separates the interior of the cell from its external environment. This process is essential for the survival and proper functioning of cells. There are three main types of transports: diffusion, osmosis, active transport. Diffusion. The movement of particles from an area of higher concentration to an area of lower concentration is called diffusion. It does not require energy for the movement of substances. Therefore, it is a passive process. Examples: nutrients are absorbed into the bloodstream through the villi in the small intestine of the human body. This process is an example of simple diffusion. In the human body, oxygen moves from the air in the alveoli into the blood in the capillaries through diffusion. On the other hand, carbon dioxide moves from the blood in the capillaries to the air in the alveoli through the same process. The gas exchange in fish occurs through the process of diffusion. As water flows over the gills, oxygen can pass through and enter the bloodstream in the gill filaments. At the same time, carbon dioxide exits the bloodstream and diffuses into the water. Plants use diffusion to exchange gases, such as carbon dioxide and oxygen, through their stomata. Factors that affect the rate of diffusion. The three factors that affect the rate of diffusion: temperature, concentration gradient, and membrane surface area. A rise in temperature increases the energy of the molecules, leading to a faster diffusion rate. If the concentration gradient is more, the molecules of the substance will diffuse at a faster rate. Therefore, the diffusion rate is directly proportional to the concentration gradient. When the surface area of a cell increases, the diffusion of substances into the cell also increases. This is because more space is available for molecules to diffuse across the membrane. Osmosis. Osmosis is the process by which water molecules move across a semi-permeable membrane from an area of lower solute concentration to an area of higher solute concentration. Examples: water is transported through osmosis from the less concentrated soil solution into more concentrated root hair cells in plants. Water absorption in the small and large intestines of the human body is an example of osmosis. Both osmosis and diffusion involve particles moving from high to low concentrations, but osmosis is a unique form of diffusion. Active transport. Active transport is a non-passive transport that refers to the movement of molecules or ions across a cell membrane from an area of lower concentration to an area of higher concentration. During active transport, the particles move against the concentration gradient. Unlike passive transport processes such as diffusion, active transport requires energy input, typically in the form of adenosine triphosphate, ATP, or another energy source. Plants utilize the energy from respiration in the process of active transport. Examples: in the human body, the active transport process enables the absorption of sugar molecules from the small intestine when the sugar concentration is greater in the bloodstream than in the small intestine. Plants use active transport to take in mineral ions from the soil through their root hair cells. Adaptations for cell transport. Single-celled organisms have a high surface area to volume ratio, facilitating the exchange of substances between the cell and its surroundings. Bacteria is a unicellular or single-celled organism. Multicellular organisms consist of more than one cell, for example animals and plants. In multicellular organisms, the surface area to volume ratio is less. That's why they need specialized organ systems for the transportation of molecules. In the human body, villi are small finger-like projections in the small intestine. The villi in the small intestine can effectively absorb nutrients, as it has a large surface area and thin walls. Also, the excellent blood supply maintains a steep concentration gradient. The alveoli are small, sac-like structures found in the lungs. The walls of the alveoli in the lungs are very thin, providing a large surface area, so that the gas can easily pass through them. Fish gills have adaptations that make them efficient for gas exchange. These cells possess thin layers that reduce the distance required for diffusion, a considerable surface area, and a robust blood supply that upholds a sharp concentration gradient. Root hair cells absorb water and mineral nutrients from the soil, which are then transported throughout the plant. They have a large surface area and contain lots of mitochondria to provide the energy for active transport.